So I've done a couple of teachings on, well, teachings is a strong word, videos on circumcision lately. And a couple of people challenged me to read Galatians, so I did. And Galatians talks a lot about circumcision. And Paul is basically saying that, in my opinion, in my reading of it, that it's not good to assume that you're justified by circumcision. People are saying this is the ticket to heaven. This is what you need to do to be part of the covenant with God, is to be circumcised. And I think Paul's response is basically, no, circumcision will not justify you. It's not your ticket to heaven. And I would say it's kind of similar to saying the sinner's prayer, which is in the Baptist church and a lot of other non-denominational churches, where basically you're saying, acknowledging Christ came, died for us, rose again, I'm a sinner, and I invite Jesus into my life. Saying that is great. It's a great first step. It is not a ticket to heaven. And it's similar to baptism. Within certain circles, people preach that if you get baptized, then that's your ticket to heaven. You're automatically saved. That's not true either. It's similar to having a specific belief or knowledge about some spiritual thing, or a lot of people say in order to get saved, you have to have the exact right understanding, as defined by them, of course, of who Jesus is, which is also not your ticket to get saved. And so I think that's what Paul is countering here, is basically just getting circumcised is not a ticket to salvation by any means. It's not going to justify you. Like, whether you're circumcised or uncircumcised, it's a heart issue, and it's about knowing God. And even Paul says in chapter 5 verse 11 that he still preaches circumcision, actually. And so I do need to research this more to see what, from the beginning in the scriptures, what are the rules around who needs to be circumcised and why. And we know that Abraham was called by God before his circumcision, and it was Abraham's faith that justified him. And then God gave him a sign of circumcision, which was basically a sign of his faith. It's kind of like, I mean, I don't know if this is a good analogy or not, but it makes me think of within human relationships, how you get to know somebody before you decide to marry them. And I think of it kind of that way, where it's, you get to know God, and then you decide to marry him. And to me, it seems like circumcision is an act of faith, of saying, like, yes, I want to commit to you. Baptism is an act of faith, saying, yes, I want to commit to you. And actually, for me, getting my ears pierced was an act of faith, saying, yes, I want to commit to you. I didn't think it was coincidental that all of a sudden, 7 years after I'd given my life to Christ, that I had the desire to get my ears pierced. So I got my ears pierced out of with the meaning that I was becoming a bondservant to God. So, I mean, to me, it's kind of similar to circumcision, to baptism, where we already have a love and a faith for God, and then we do these outward signs to show that. So it's not, like, I think what Paul is countering here, without knowing what the situation was exactly, and it seems like people were pressuring people to get circumcised as a justification thing, saying, like, this is what you need to do to be saved. And Paul is like, no, that is not true. You will not be justified by being circumcised. And it's really a heart issue. And at the same time, if he's still preaching circumcision, it seems like it's reasonable to say that, if you want to do that out of a heart posture, and if it's meaningful to you, and it's going to strengthen your relationship with God by having this sign of, yes, I want to marry you, then by all means, it's a beautiful thing to do. So I need to research it more. would love to hear your thoughts also. That just, to me, it seems like that's what Paul might be saying in Galatians. Yes, let me know what you think.